Hello folks and welcome to the Ashcast. Today we have a match between Brian and Carl. So Brian has a balanced deck. It has some tough units, some over-the-top damage, but also some tricks to go wide on his opponent. This kind of deck can be really tough to beat, as it can pivot to your opponent's weakness. Carl's deck is what I call Koji Protect, and it's all kind of based around Koji using ability to buff up that Protect spell and keep a bunch of units like Anchor not alive for a long time. So Brian starts off this match by playing a Summon Turtle spell and meditates a Channel Revenge, which can't make him too happy since he'll want to go over the top against Koji's big wall of units. Carl gets the Protect spell out right away and starts building up the damage blocking ability. Brian brings out the Frostback Bear. A few expansions ago, you couldn't build a competitive deck without bears, and today there's still a top tier unit. Brian brings out the Biter to defend, which will trade nicely with the bears as they'll be able to destroy each other in combat, but the first Biter costs 1 mana less than the first bear. Brian brings out the Raptor Herder and counters the Hatchling. This is probably one of the most important new cards from Xander's deck. For a single class dice, you can generate 3 attack that you need 2 blockers to fully stop. So if used correctly, that efficiently is not surpassed by any other card. So Brian here is going to mark that Biter, which is going to make it difficult to protect it efficiently, so he's probably not going to end up using his Protect spell to keep it alive. And he's going to capitalize on the lack of units on Carl's board right now and send everything in at him. Carl's still, of course, going to block the bear with the Biter, but he's going to end up taking 3 early damage from the Hatchling and the Herder. Brian then is going to react with the powerhouse card, Harvest Soul. This allows him to remove the Biter from the game, draw a card, get a dice back, and beef Herald stats all in one go. More than anything, it's Harvest Soul that has really made Herald the competitive Phoenixborn that he is. So Carl brought out that Shield Mage and immediately exerted it to get that protection aura going. Then Brian the Turtle Guard, Carl the Lioness, but Brian's going to Molten that Lioness. Brian doing a good job here keeping that board clean, but now that the Molten's gone, that allows Carl to bring out the Hammer Knight without fear of being removed immediately. But Brian uses the Blood Chains, removes the Turtle Guard, and puts that Hammer Knight under permanent exhaustion. Since I doubt this match is going for 6 rounds, that Hammer Knight might as well be gone. Top of round 2, Carl brings out the Biter to start. And then Brian's going to follow by playing the Summon Ceratosaurus mount, which is the only bookless summon ready spell in the game, which did have some fans a little bit concerned that it was going to be a trend, but so far it's the only one. Carl throws away the Raptor Herder with the Yankee. But then Brian's going to bring out an Eevee and saddle it up atop of a Ceratosaurus. She's not the juggernaut she once was, but she's still a solid unit and still sees competitive play. Carl responds by bringing out yet another Hammer Knight. Then Brian brings out the bear. Carl's going to swing the Hammer Knight at the Ceratosaurus mount, which is going to also let him remove that Raptor Herder with Aftershock. So Brian took the 4 damage to the face, but then marked the Hammer Knight and pinged at it with the Fire Archer, doing 2 damage due to Hunter's Mark. And then Carl got some use out of that chronically exhausted Hammer Knight by Dark Reaping it. Brian responds by swinging everything at that exhausted Hammer Knight. So Carl plays a Lioness, Brian brings out a Turtle, Carl pulls an Anki from the discard pile. Carl then gets down a second Protect and uses his Anki plus Lioness to put 3 damage on that bear. And that gets followed by a Pass going into round 3. Brian to take it from the top of round 3 by getting a bear out. Carl uses his 2 Ankis and a Lioness to destroy the bear and Fire Archer. Brian goes to play Sun Sister, but Carl ice traps it, which at the very least allows Brian to pull a Fire Archer back into his hand for no mana or damage cost. Carl then plays another Mighty Hammer Knight. But once again, Brian has an answer for that, his old friend Blood Chains, putting chronic exhaustion on that knight for the rest of the game. Carl follows with the Lioness, but then Brian marks the Lioness and sends the Ceratosaurus after it. Carl uses some of his Protect spells to keep that Lioness alive, and then Moltens Brian in the face. And this is where the game really swings in momentum. Brian has a huge meteor play here. Now Carl here could use some of his Protect spells to keep his units alive, but ultimately decides it's not worth it. Also, there's an unfortunate mistake here where a biter that has no damage on it and has protection aura is actually going to get killed from that meteor when it shouldn't. So you can see here I zoomed right in on it. That is a full health biter, a total of 3 health protection aura, and it shouldn't have got removed. So then Carl here is going to drop a fresh biter down, and Brian's going to respond with a molten to Koji's face. Carl's just going to go ahead and pass here. Brian then dismounts the Eevee, so now he has an active unit. But the run's going to end with a pass. I'm guessing he doesn't want the biter to just take out that Eevee with no gain. Round 4 starts with Carl playing an Anki and throwing away that Eevee. Brian follows that by playing his first Chant of Revenge. Carl plays Lioness, then Brian follows him with the Battle Mage. Carl pulls an Anki from the discard pile and plays it, then Brian summons a Frostback Bear. Carl sends the Lioness in after the bear, but does not throw to finish it off. Brian marks the Anki and then sends the Battle Mage in. But Carl's going to use his Protect spells to keep that Anki alive and then bring out another biter. Brian then stacks up another Chant of Revenge. Carl is going to lick the wounds off of that Lioness and send it in to kill the Battle Mage. Brian's going to use both of his Chant of Revenge to hit Koji in the face and then ping Koji again with that Fire Archer. Carl uses a Frog Power Dice to ping away the Fire Archer, and then Brian follows suit by Frog pinging the Anki. No main actions for the next 2 turns is going to lead us into round 5. Brian begins the run by playing a bear. Carl uses the marked Anki to finish off the injured bear. Brian follows by playing a Sun Sister, and then eventually mounting it, cleverly pulling those Fire Archers back into his hand again and again. Carl then throws the damage at the bear and sends the Lioness in to finish it off. Brian played a Fire Archer which got choked, followed by Carl playing the Lioness. Brian then decides to send everything in at the marked Anki, trying to get some overkill damage in, but Carl will protect the Anki. Carl sends the Lioness in to take 2 damage at a Herald. Then Brian dismounts the Sun Sister, and Carl Frog pings her away. That again allows Brian to pull back another Fire Archer into his hand. Brian then plays the Fire Archer, ambushing Koji for 1 damage. Carl's going to follow up by moltening Harold's face, and Harold's going to close the game off with a molten game to Koji. Great game here by these 2 experienced players. That big momentum swing in round 3 with the Meteor was really important in this game. Overall, this is a really interesting matchup with some really talented play from both sides. Hope you enjoyed watching this. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you next time on the Ashcast.